So here at Collierley Primary School, we ensure that children have a high focus on reading from an early age. This begins in nursery. So in nursery, we make sure that children are able to recognise sounds, and we do this in a number of ways. We ensure that children have the ability to recognise sounds in their environment through body percussion, musical instruments, and a wide variety of other ways. We ensure that children, by the end of nursery, are able to orally blend and segment words, and this supports their transition into phonics in reception. In reception, children begin their Sounds Right phonics teaching. Their Sounds Right phonics teaching is taught daily, and they have phonetically matched decodable readers that follow their teaching and are read with at home. The expectation of children at home is that they read 3 times a week with an adult and have their reading records signed. So, at Collierley Primary School, we also ensure that all children in reception are read with 3 times a week in school. For children in the bottom 20% of readers, we ensure that these children are read with every single day by an adult in school. So in Key Stage 1, we ensure that a lot of the expectations are exactly the same. This helps parents transition well into Key Stage 1, and it helps children and parents understand the expectations and what we do here at Collierley Primary School. So moving into Key Stage 1, we ensure that children are still read with 3 times a week in school at minimum. For those children in the bottom 20% of readers, again, we ensure that those children are read with every single day by an adult in school to ensure that they have that pathway to automaticity and fluency in that reading. Moving in towards the end of Year 2, most children should have reached automaticity and fluency in their reading. For those children, they are given a baseline star reader assessment. This provides them with a baseline level in which they can access accelerated reader. This gives them a zone of proximal development and a range of books in which they can choose from. We have ensured that children have a really wide range of books and have recently invested over £3,000 in ensuring that these children have access to a wide variety of fiction and non-fiction texts to choose from. Children are then assessed half-termly using this star reader assessment to ensure that they are given a new zone of proximal development and a new range of books to choose from. This also gives us a clear idea of which children are making good progress, which children aren't necessarily making the progress we want, and being able to intervene where necessary. For children in the bottom 20% of readers in Key Stage 2, we ensure that these children are read with 3 times a week by an adult in school. For the rest of children who have reached the automaticity and fluency in their reading in Key Stage 2, we ensure that those children are read with each week once in school by an adult and have their reading records signed. The expectation for home reading in Key Stage 2 remains the same as it was in reception and the same as it was in Key Stage 1. All children throughout the entire school are expected to be read with 3 times a week and have their reading records signed by an adult in school. For children who we classify as non-fluent readers, we ensure that they have a very strong intervention system in place and a pathway to fluency. For these children, they are taught through Sounds Right phonics using teachers and teaching assistants twice weekly based on a baseline assessment to ascertain the code in which they do not understand. We classify non-fluent readers as any of these: children who may struggle regularly and consistently in blending and segmenting, children who struggle regularly and consistently in decoding, or a child who may not have passed the phonics screening test. These children are provided twice weekly interventions using that baseline assessment to ascertain the code in which they don't understand. They are then taught directly the code in which they are struggling and regularly assessed upon that code. They have phonetically matched, age-appropriate decodable readers that follow them through to ensure that children are not reading books in which they do not have the code knowledge to understand. These children, again, are read with 3 times a week in school at minimum, and we have a really high focus on engaging with parents to ensure that these children are reading as much as possible at home to ensure that they have a pathway to fluency. For children who we classify as reading disadvantaged, who for a wide variety of reasons may not be able to reach our expectations of reading at home, we have systems in place to ensure that these children are read with more times in school.